Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the starting 11 prediction. Well, that's an empty board. This is my starting 11 prediction. I have in my hand the team that is almost certain to face Crystal Palace this weekend in the 12:30 kickoff at Selhurst Park. I'm going to start with the most obvious of all the selections. Well, certainly it's in the top 3 or 4. Loris Karius in goal. Right, I'm going to move on to right back. And this is where I think the real bone of contention is with this selection. I'll talk a bit around that in a moment. But I've gone Trent Alexander-Arnold, a back four completed with Dejan Lovren, Virgil van Dijk, obviously, and Andy Robertson. The midfield three, which, look, those of you who watch the build-up show will know we had a consensus on that. I'm going to use the wisdom of crowds in that regard, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak. Go for Jordan Henderson, Jimmy Milner, and Gini Wijnaldum, who seems to hopefully now have fully recovered from the bad case of the shit they had a couple of weeks ago. Mohamed Salah, of course, Roberto Firmino, and Sadio Mane up front. Substitutes then, we've got Simon Mignolet. This is where we're going to discuss the right back thing in a moment. Nathaniel Klein, Joel Matip, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Emre Can, if he's fit, Adam Lallana, and Danny Ings. If Emre Can isn't fit, I think we will likely see Tom Solanke on the bench. But I'm going to go with the best case scenario and have Emre Can in there because I think we're a little bit light in midfield, and if he is available, I think he needs someone if we want to close it down. Look, I think if we're 1-0 up with a couple of minutes to go, I think the manager will look to shut things down, and having Emre as an option is a very good option nevertheless. So, Nathaniel Klein, I want to know people's thoughts watching this. What do you think to that? Klein, we know he's been out all season. The last time he figured for Liverpool, Liverpool first team certainly, was back at Tranmere in pre-season. We were there, that was good fun. It's not been good fun for Nate Klein since then. He's back in training, we know that. He's played games for the unders as well. Klopp has said in 2 concurrent press conferences that he is fit, he is available for selection. He just doesn't want to put him forward for selection because he hasn't got his rhythm at the moment because he's not played senior professional games. We've seen issues with the aforementioned Adam Lallana. We've basically ruined his season a little bit by pushing him back into the first team too soon, really. So that is a potential problem with Nathaniel Klein. However, as we know, Man City at home on Wednesday, Everton in the Merseyside derby at Goodison the weekend, Man City again after that. Massive 4 games, massive 2 weeks for Liverpool Football Club. Trent Alexander-Arnold is a kid, and Joe Gomez, who is the obvious deputy, who they've been in rotation all season. Look, he's not available, so do you risk Trent? And I say risk, it might not be a risk. Very talented young lad. Yes, he's had a few bad performances this season, to be expected from any young player, but he has had far more good and, in fact, great performances than he's had bad performances this season. So when I say it's a risk, I mean more from the fact that it's a calculated risk, maybe a slight gamble, but again, a bit of an educated gamble to some extent because, again, you're not throwing in a lad who's only played under 23 football. For this, that would be a gamble to play 4 games with a lad who hadn't played senior games. He has played senior games and he's played them very, very well. But Nathaniel Klein, are you going to throw him against Man City without a senior game? No. Are you going to throw him in a Merseyside derby? This feels to me like the best last chance ahead of that run of fixtures to maybe get Klein some minutes, which is why I think if it was me, Nathaniel Klein starts, but I think we'll know a little bit more about the manager's thinking. I think he will trust as much of the senior team, as much of the back four. I think 3 of that back 4 are guaranteed to start 3 of the games, at least 3 or 4 of the games. The goalkeeper will start all of them, and I think Jordan Henderson will start as many games as he's physically capable, and the front 3 will. I think there's a couple of places that we will obviously rotate where we can do. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I think if Klein's on the bench, that makes sense because we'll know what the manager's thinking is. We will need him, I suspect, at some point between now and the end of the season. We don't know how long Gomez is likely to be out for. If he's going to be out for a month or more, I think we will need Klein, and this is the best last opportunity to get some minutes, senior minutes into him before it's go time, it's crunch time, and then do you want to run the risk of goosing Nathaniel Klein's career up by not easing him back in after such a long injury? Right, let me know your thoughts on that. Sai's got the comments open right now.
Yeah, so there's lots of comments about Klein and Trent.
Yeah.
Loads of interesting ones. Mustafa Salim reckons Klein should play under 23s this weekend, then the derby, then the away leg. Loads of people have different variations of what they think they should be doing over
the
next
derby,
game.
then the away leg. I mean, you're talking what, Saturday to Tuesday for that? I can't say I agree with that one.
There's an interesting shout here, which is something I didn't actually know. Sean 12105 says Klein should be starting. He's a Palace lad. And I've just looked up. Klein played more games for Crystal Palace than he has for Southampton or Liverpool.
There you go. Yeah, he's a young lad coming through the ranks of Crystal Palace. It is an interesting one, and that it's a decent shout. It's a very decent shout. I do agree. If this was me, I think I personally wouldn't mind seeing Lallana come into the midfield and I'd put Klein in the back four, just because it's the push, it's the final push between now and the end of the season. They're both players who've lost a lot of time this season through injury and what have you. I would be looking to get them in, and equally, I wouldn't start Danny Ings, but if the situation in the game allows it, so if we're a couple of goals to the good with half an hour to go, or even 45 minutes to go, I would bring Danny Ings on for Roberto Firmino, and I would maybe look for Oxlade-Chamberlain to get a look in to replace one of Salah or Mane, just again to keep people fit and fresh as possible for the last few games. A couple more.
Stephen Hill says, agree with that apart from Lovren and Milner. I think Lovren's a catastrophe waiting to happen against Benteke. Put Matip in over him, but he says, I think Ox over Milner as well. Milner needs to be 100% for City.
Okay, so it's a very interesting point made, and the Lovren Matip thing is interesting because if you put Joel Matip in, I think his extra height, I think maybe helps him a little bit more against Benteke, but his lack of aggression, I wonder whether if it comes to a physical battle, does Matip have what it takes to go up against Christian Benteke? Listen, if he wants to be a senior Liverpool centre-back, he best friggin' had to, but I think the decision to go with Lovren in the Man United game was, in hindsight, not the right one, but leading into the game, I felt it was the right decision, and I think Lovren getting beaten by Lukaku is made easier by, if you've got a Jordan Henderson who looks to basically double up and you look to sandwich the target man a little bit, which Liverpool have done brilliantly in the past. It just fell apart in that game for some reason. Maybe that was Emre Can's fault. And look, I'm not trying to vindicate Lovren entirely, because particularly for the one that led up to Rashford's goal, he was nowhere near Lukaku in that. He doesn't even get up to challenge for the header. So what I'm kind of driving at is that I think Lovren will get the nod for this. Maybe? I don't know. Let me know. Continue on that point. Let us know in the comments below. One more, please, Shai. Hasn't got one more.
Andrew Cunningham, do you think Salah will break Ronaldo's record of scoring 34 goals in one season?
Sure, why not? If you think you can do, drop a like on the video right now. I'm just going to point your attention towards something. I've mentioned Dejan Lovren, I've mentioned the fitness of the guys and what have you, as we look towards the final run-in. We've just recorded a show yesterday, in fact, it's going out today on the redmentv.com, called The Run-In Special. It's about Liverpool's last remaining fixtures between now and the end of the season. Not just them, but also the fixtures of Liverpool's rivals and how the seasons for all of the top clubs who are in and around us are likely to pan out, given they're going to be playing teams in relegation fights, teams that are in no danger of any European qualification or relegation, etc., to try and settle the nerves, or maybe not, to work out where we think Liverpool will finish in the top four race and how that impacts our quest for the European Cup as well. Go to the redmentv.com channel. It's an absolute belter of a show. 60 minutes, in-depth analysis, great debate, fantastic stuff. We're doing some great stuff on there. Done a podcast with Sachin Nakrani as well, talking about the Liverpool coach greeting for Man City, talking about why people hate Jordan Henderson, and having a little bit of a laugh at Jose Mourinho. Amazing content on there. It supports what we do. Get over there. It's free for the first month. Try it out. I shall see you there, because you should watch it, because it's amazing. And what else are you going to do when you finish watching this video? Have a wank? Well, yeah, do that. But when you're finished and you've cleaned yourself up, go to the redmentv.com. Nice one.